Emily was only 16 years old when she disappeared. It was a normal Friday afternoon. School had just ended, and security cameras showed her leaving through the front gate with a backpack over her shoulder. She smiled at one of her classmates, crossed the street, and disappeared around the corner. That was the last time anyone saw her. When Emily didn't come home that evening, her mother, Sarah, assumed her daughter had gone to a friend's house. She called every number she had. No one had seen Emily. By midnight, Sarah reported her missing. Police officers searched nearby woods, abandoned buildings, and parks. Volunteers joined the search. Hundreds of flyers covered telephone poles and shop windows. Nothing. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months. Every lead ended in disappointment. Eventually, the investigation slowed down. People moved on. But Sarah never did. Every birthday, she baked Emily's favorite chocolate cake. Every Christmas, she wrapped a present and placed it under the tree. She kept Emily's bedroom exactly the way it had been on the day she disappeared. Friends tried to help. Family members begged her to accept reality. But Sarah believed one thing with all her heart. My daughter is alive. 12 years passed. One rainy afternoon, Sarah walked into the office of attorney Daniel Brooks. Unlike most lawyers, Daniel specialized in reviewing forgotten criminal cases. He listened quietly as Sarah placed a worn photograph on his desk. "I know everyone thinks she's gone," Sarah whispered, "but I need someone to look one more time." Daniel agreed. Over the next several weeks, he read thousands of pages from the original investigation. At first, everything looked ordinary, until he noticed something strange. A witness had mentioned seeing an old blue pickup truck parked near the school. Investigators interviewed dozens of people, but somehow, they never identified the owner of that truck. Daniel couldn't stop thinking about it. He tracked down the witness, now much older. Surprisingly, the man remembered another detail. "There was a dent on the driver's door," he said, "and I think part of the license plate started with 7BK. It wasn't much, but it was enough. Daniel hired an investigator. Together, they searched old registration records. Only one truck matched the description. It belonged to a man named Victor Hayes. Years earlier, Victor had suddenly sold his house and moved to a remote rural property. Police had never questioned him. Daniel reported everything. This time, detectives took the evidence seriously. They quietly began watching Victor's property. For several days, nothing happened. Then, one officer noticed groceries being delivered for two people. Victor lived alone, or at least, everyone thought he did. Police obtained a search warrant. The next morning, officers surrounded the property. Victor answered the door calmly. He insisted no one else lived there. But investigators searched every room. Nothing. Just as they prepared to leave, one detective noticed fresh scratches on the basement floor. Beneath an old carpet was a hidden door. The officers opened it. A narrow staircase led underground. At the end of the hallway sat a locked steel door. When they forced it open, they found a frightened young woman. She stepped back from the light. She hadn't seen sunlight in years. One detective slowly showed her the old missing person photograph. Her hands began to shake. "That's my mom." The room fell silent. Sarah received the phone call only minutes later. She could barely breathe. At the police station, mother and daughter saw each other for the first time in 12 years. Neither spoke. They simply embraced and cried. Doctors later confirmed Emily was physically alive, but had endured years of isolation. She began a long journey of recovery surrounded by family. Meanwhile, investigators gathered evidence from the property. Documents, photographs, hidden rooms, every discovery strengthened the case. Months later, the trial began. Victor denied every accusation. But witness testimony, forensic evidence, and years of investigation painted a different picture. The jury deliberated for only a few hours. Guilty. The judge sentenced Victor to life in prison. Outside the courthouse, reporters asked Sarah whether she finally felt peace. She smiled through tears. I never stopped believing. Sometimes hope is the only thing that keeps a search alive. And sometimes one overlooked clue can change everything.